the first 2 episodes you watch the wreck, and then after that people keep like getting run over for some reason. Like no one's stopping, no one's helping anybody. The ambulance caught on fire, the fire truck fell into a ditch. The cop showed up and shot another cop. Like it's a shit show.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskins here, and we're ready to do an episode of the Beacon House Podcast about how to hide your husband's dead body.
Wow. Carol, I hear that you recommend hiding the body in tiger poop.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, yes.
What?
Yes, honey. Yes. Here, kitty, kitty is my jam.
You're going to sing it for us, Casey?
Do it, dude.
No, it's copyright. I can't do that.
No, if you sing it won't be copyright. No, it's fine.
I don't want to give Joe Exotic more money than he needs.
This really sounds like I'm missing.
You're missing it.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't started it yet. I've only heard rumors. I have no idea.
Let me ask you, how much do you know about the phenomenon sweeping the nation called Tiger King?
Nothing. I know a week or so ago, people started talking about it like crazy. And then I found out it was on Netflix and I watched part of the preview and was confused. So I just turned it off. And you guys and everyone else have been nonstop talking about it since.
Yep.
I think that's the initial response from most people is just confusion. And then it's a train wreck that you can't.
I heard it's enrapturing though from you.
It's addictive.
Yeah, it's when people say, "Can you describe it?" That's the worst thing. And I just go Google it. I can't really.
It's alternative. It's not like classical or rock or.
No. It's 100% Creed the documentary.
It keeps topping. I keep thinking there's no way to get any more.
I would have watched it before it came out.
It's insanity.
Hold on. Did you guys catch what Shipley said? Because she cut out for me. If you guys got it, good.
What'd you say, Shipley?
I said it keeps topping itself is the thing. You keep thinking there's no way this can get any more insane, and then it does.
Yeah, 100%. Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Beacon House Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey.
I'm another one of your hosts, Spence.
I'm Hunter.
And that's Hunter showing off his crackers. But Spence, we have 2 guests in tonight.
We do, thanks to the ever-evolving world of technology, which is probably not that advanced, but I'm just old. We do have 2 very famous Beacon House alums on this episode at the same time, all from remote locations. Casey, tell them what they won.
They won the lovely Jason Turner and the handsome Jordan Shipley.
Hello.
I like how you did that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best not to say anything that's bleep worthy this time. So
listen, if we're talking about Tiger King, it might come up.
Yeah, no promises are made.
We're talking about train wrecks. Anyways, guys, how are you doing today? How's everybody doing outside of watching the greatest documentary ever?
Well, as I was telling you guys earlier, I made pasta parmesan with a garlic cup from Papa John's earlier, so I'm living my best life.
Oh,
make it do.
But you know what? That actually sounds delicious.
It does sound good.
It worked out really well.
Awesome.
Garlic sauce, some Parmesan cheese. It was great.
Spencer, what are you doing?
I show off my little dinosaur.
Anybody that's listening to just the audio, just know that we're doing this over the internet through a handsome little application called Zoom. So be on the lookout for some videos, some clips on YouTube.
Hopefully Casey will find some video side of this.
For the first time ever, we can see each other, so this is going to be interesting.
But just to kick things off, guys, I feel like there's somebody behind me. I feel like I'm being watched.
That is the most like upsetting and unnerving mugshot photo ever.
Hey guys,
look how it looks.
Do you guys want to know how I'm hanging on during this quarantine? I'm hanging on like Joe Exotic's eyebrow ring. Look, barely hanging on. Just barely.
I like that.
But yeah, so it's been a crazy month with everything going on. No.
1 week since you looked at me.
No. I'm so glad we're doing video so you guys can watch me die inside.
They deserve to see that more. Most people don't ever get to see that the way we do.
That's fair. Yeah, Hunter just points and laughs as he sings. But no,
but with singing,
we've all had a lot of downtime on our hands. Even the busy Spencer's had a little bit of downtime on his hands, and so we all ended up watching Tiger King, except Hunter for some reason. And
I've not had downtime.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Which is weird because I'm usually the one who doesn't see the show or whatever it is we're talking about. I'm gonna turn my background off because I'm gesturing and it's messing up.
I'm excited to sit in your seat this time, Spencer.
I know. Good for you. No, I'm usually the one that doesn't like see the shows or whatever. And I've actually seen all episodes of Tiger King.
Now, Spencer, you're the one that told me to watch it.
I'm the first person to mention it to you?
Well, I mean, I saw everybody posting about it on Facebook, but you're the first one that was like, you need to watch it. So
I think he might have been the first for me too, actually.
Yeah. He has that effect on people. He made me watch The Dirt, which I'm still not over.
Yeah, same.
Yay!
I'm never going to forgive him for that.
I still haven't watched it.
Don't worry.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
I feel like I know what it's about just from listening to you guys talk about it.
No, you should watch it.
I have the soundtrack behind me on vinyl.
That's okay.
I'm glad that I was able to turn somebody on to Tiger King just so they could kind of be informed as we do this thing. But it's not great. It's not. I don't think that it's good.
It's one of the worst documentaries.
Thank you.
Okay, well, so clarify this then. Because I'm confused. Is it a documentary about this guy that turned into an investigation because they found out that there was some shit, or is it from the top down a documentary about this entire incident?
It's a documentary. All of this stuff already happened at the time. Well, they were like filming while it was going down, but like it didn't kickstart the investigation. Like the investigation was already going to happen, whether there's a documentary or not.
Okay, well.
They filmed it as if it were a documentary, but to me, it plays as if it's a reality TV show because the antics that everybody goes through is just so off the wall crazy. And no, I know it's not scripted, but it feels like you're watching a reality TV show.
It's crazier than most reality TV I've seen. Like it's crazy.
Reality TV is not scripted.
It's crazier than wife swap. Like it's top tier trashy.
Now, you guys have to understand something though.
Top tier trashy.
Joe Exotic filmed everything. So, like, a lot of the stuff you see is not from the documentary crew, but from Joe Exotic's, like, file catalog of everything he's filmed, because he's just constantly filming shit. So,
which is also seems very self-incriminating.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially when he's like, hey, Carol Baskins, this is what I'm going to do to you. Bam! And shoots the mannequin. You're like...
Really psycho, man. Like, he's a lunatic.
Yeah, the guy does all this really, 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 like... stuff that would almost just torpedo him right into like guilt or whatever. But he makes videos and commercials all defaming this woman in Florida that runs another tiger preserve, and they're like competing. He also claims she's killed her husband, and that's why if you've seen all these memes about that bitch Carol Baskins and she killed her husband, that's what it's all about.
Now that I believe that's actually everything from that. Even though it is a documentary that's pretty off the rails, I do believe that she killed her husband 100%.
I don't think anybody doesn't believe that.
On his death. Like, I've heard some theories that he was probably a drug smuggler because, like, he flew uncharted planes to Costa Rica all the time. So, and probably he got mixed up with a cartel or something, and they killed him, which is a possibility. Either she killed him or some cartel guy did. But either way, she definitely capitalized on it and forged the will that she produced that gave her control over everything. That's, I think, beyond doubt.
Yeah.
More people are convinced that she is guilty than they are convinced that OJ was guilty.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you see that OJ tweeted out, I think Carol Baskins definitely killed her husband?
No, he didn't.
Yes,
that's awesome.
No.
Yes. Really? I'll find it. I'll find it.
Oh my God.
Is it really OJ?
Yes.
All that's left is.
Did he say speaking from experience and like?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah, can you
what
see
do you
the
mean
new
she
trial?
killed her
If the
husband?
tiger shits, you must acquit.
Is
O.J.
Wow.
Simpson convinced Carol Baskin killed her husband and turned her into tiger sashimi.
That's incredible.
It's from one person that got off to another.
Hey.
But didn't they reopen the case against this lady?
Apparently, yeah. Apparently they have.
Now, Casey, you said when we were kind of doing a trial run on this whole thing, you said yesterday that there's a new Tiger King episode coming out. What's up with that?
All I know is that I saw everyone posting about it, and apparently the documentary lead came out and was like, we filmed one more just as like a follow-up because this thing blew up. And so I think we're getting sometime this week, we're getting a follow-up episode that like kind of covers some more stuff.
Because I know you said they reopened the case on Carol, but doesn't the Joe Exotic, he gets an appeal, doesn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that what the next episode is going to be about?
So I heard about Joe Exotic from last podcast on the left. They do like a mid-weekly podcast episode called Side Stories. And for like 3 weeks straight, they just talked about this Joe Exotic guy and how he was running for president and how he may or may not have put a hit out on this lady. So I had kind of known the story a little bit. And then whenever this documentary came out, I realized I had no fucking idea what I thought I knew. Like it just blew the roof off my mind. It's insane.
I know people online have already started petitions on trying to get him out of jail early.
Really?
No.
Yeah, people have rallied behind this guy.
Oh.
Just like it's his 15 minutes of fame that he actually wanted that he can't even enjoy now since he's in jail.
Well, yeah, but like, are they rallying behind him because he has some kind of like sympathetic side that you could, or is it because of the cult of personality? Like he's so silly that people.
Because like he's obviously crazy, but it's weird. It's like he's so unapologetic about who he is and the things that he does that even though the things he does are insane, it's kind of weirdly charming.
That's true. That's true. There's something.
So would he be behind? Sorry, would he be behind bars if he had colluded with Russia?
Good question.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
That's a damn good question.
I'm kidding.
How do you always seem somehow to make this political?
I'm the friend that you choose, Casey. It's my job to derail things.
You're not even derailing.
He set that up. He set that whole thing up, and we fell right into the tiger cage of the trap.
Joe, what do you think?
Sorry.
Well, man, I think one of the attractions to the show is people getting to like psychoanalyze this guy because he, just like Jordan said, he's nuts. The guy's obviously nuts, but there's a sincerity to it. Like he really seems to mean everything that he's saying. And even though he's wacko, he's got there's the scenes where he's doing something kind of endearing. Like he's feeding all those people at Thanksgiving, even though he's feeding them like expired meat that it was going to give to the tigers from Walmart or whatever, but he's still like helping these kids. And there's something weird about the guy that he's a nut job, but in the back of your mind, at least for me, you almost think like maybe he's not that bad of a guy. And maybe all these other people are actually like the crooks. What was your Jordan Shipley? Give us your take on what did you think? You had a lot of opinions about this.
So I think that Joe is definitely nuts. Like he's completely unhinged. And I don't think he's a good person, but I definitely think that there are a lot of other people on the show who are a lot more evil than he is. Like Doc Antle is straight up an evil human being. Like that guy is running a goddamn sex cult in South Carolina. He's nuts. Like Joe's unhinged, definitely, and he's done some horrible things. I don't know if I would pin the label evil just because I don't think he's mentally sound enough. You know what I mean? So but no, he's definitely a shitty person regardless. Nuts.
I have a feeling that Jeff Lowe and the other guy that was supposed to be the hitman, I think they have way more to do with it than Joe Exotic does, and they just got Joe to say a bunch of shit that was incriminating, and then pinned it all on him. So they didn't have.
That's a definite possibility because he definitely got more unstable while they were filming the show, and as the social media battle went on, I definitely think that Lowe and possibly also the producer, whose name escapes me at the moment, Kirkham, maybe. I definitely think they deliberately riled him up and inflamed him.
Yeah. Because
it makes for better TV.
Oh, absolutely. But I just love that Carol Baskins, the actual murderer, her intro to her videos are, "Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, this is Carol Baskins from the Big Cat Rescue." And then Joe Exotic, everyone's kind of cheering for, is like, "Listen up, motherfuckers." And that's like how he begins his videos. It's so good.
Yeah, a big part of the magic of the entire show is just watching this guy be like a super gay redneck. You know, like he's so extreme that it's hard not to watch. And like probably one of my favorite things about the entire show is when they would start just cussing. Like they cuss with that Southern accent, you know, and it's just really funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gay polyamorous redneck with a frosted tip mullet who owns Tigers. Like, this was always going to be an incredible show, regardless of how they focused it.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that.
I'd have a beer with him.
Yeah,
totally.
I did enjoy the fact that everybody that works for Joe Exotic, if you combine them together, would be actually one whole solid human being. Like, you had a guy missing legs, you had a guy missing an arm, or a girl missing an arm. You had a guy missing teeth.
He's female to male, so
if you were to like mush them all together, they would make one human. But
like Voltron.
I actually kind of feel sorry for those guys, like the people that worked for Joe, because they seemed like some of the more genuine people out of all the other people who owned their own, like Joe's crazy, Carol's crazy, Doc Ansel's crazy, but like the other workers that actually worked for him and stayed there on the farm and take care of the tigers, they seemed like the coolest people ever.
You know, something that I think really adequately illustrates how batshit this show is that the former cocaine kingpin is like the most sane person they ever show.
That's terrifying.
That's true. It is.
This man
cool.
served 12 years in prison for smuggling hundreds of pounds of cocaine, and like he's the most decent human you'll see on the screen.
Which one is that? Was that Riki?
Mario Tabroe, I think.
Oh, the other big cat guy.
Yeah.
Is he reformed, or is he like still in it though?
He's reformed. Like he said, he claims that he was actually only smuggling the coke to fund his big cat preserve.
Yeah, sure.
That's a lot of coke.
But like,
that is a lot of coke.
It was a lot of coke. Yeah. He I think he was actually initially sentenced to life without parole, and then he appealed it and was able to get out with time served. Yeah, now he's like one of the most sane people who shows up on screen, which tells you something about how nuts this show is.
Well, here's a question. What do you guys think? And we'll start with Jason on this one, but what do you guys think was the massive attraction? I mean, other than the obvious that it's just completely outlandish, what do you guys think was like such a big, why did this become the number one show like in the world? Almost
coronavirus.
Well, yeah. I think the first thing is the timing. The timing of everything. Everybody's at home with nothing to do, and so Netflix knew exactly when to release it. But then also, it's one of those train wrecks that you just love to watch. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. I actually I had no idea what Tiger King was for the first couple of weeks. I just heard it. People were talking about it on social media, but I never really looked up what it was. And then I found it on Netflix. I'm like, okay, everybody's talking about it. We'll see what's going on. But I think it's the way that it was set up, as if it were like a legitimate documentary, which I guess you could argue that it is. But the fact that it just went so off the rails so fast, it pulls you in, and you have to you watch it to keep trying to figure out or see what's going to happen next.
You guys are making me want to watch it finally.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I mean, I think if anybody here is going to encapsulate this in like one big like statement, it's probably going to be you, Hunter. Like when you finally see it, you're going to have all this, you're going to say something and we're all going to go, whoa, dude, think about that.
Hunter is going to solve Don Lewis's disappearance.
Wait, what?
Don Lewis, Carol Baskin's husband, who she supposedly fed to her tigers. Like, you're going to solve it. I have complete confidence in you. No,
hey, you never know.
And another reason this thing took off was because everything that happened in the show was so easily memeable. Like some of the memes that came out were way better than the show itself.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like any of your social media feeds were just on fire from all the crap that was going on. One of the first ones I saw is in was it like the second or third episode? The girl gets her arm bitten off.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Number 2. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And he puts on this EMT jacket to like go and check on it, and everybody was like, Total Flex by Joe Exotic. You know, like he puts on sometimes the guys in the show are wearing badges for no reason. They're just like meth addicts that feed tigers.
They have some meth mouth.
Oh, dude. It's
God, that's
Listen,
the worst.
I think honestly, the one person people need to feel sorry for in this entire thing is Joe Exotic's campaign manager. That poor kid had to witness somebody shoot themselves in the face thinking that the gun wasn't loaded. Like Joe Exotic's Joe Exotic's husbands has a gun and is like flailing it around. He's on drugs. And it shows the security footage and he goes off camera and the campaign manager's like sitting there watching him and you just see gun smoke and the guy goes, oh, and then they start talking about how the guy died.
Yeah, you literally see a guy watch another guy shoot himself in the face.
Jesus.
That's the guy didn't think it was loaded. He was just like, oh, what about this? And then he blew his face off.
And after watching a whole bunch of the show, it's actually not that shocking. You're like, no, well, of course he did.
That's horrifying. That makes me want to not watch it.
No, watch it.
Oh, of course, like these guys. So Joe obviously is super, super gay, but these guys who he both married are almost certainly pretty straight. But he basically kind of strong-armed them into marrying him by giving them meth. Both of them straight out of high school.
Yeah. You guys buy that theory?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because one of them was sleeping with a bunch of girls at the compound.
Yeah.
Actually,
did he get one of them pregnant?
Yes, Finley, the one with no teeth.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he gets these 18, 19-year-old guys to marry him, and he's like in his 40s or 50s at the time, and he does this by giving them meth.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
He sounds like a disgusting shit pot of a person.
Oh, he is. The people, I don't understand the people who like stan Joe Exotic. Like, he sucks. He's very entertaining, but he's a horrible person.
Everybody on that show is a horrible person.
He would have made a great president. just give everybody meth. It'll be fine.
We know a few states would be real happy with that.
Yeah, ours included.
Yeah, dude,
it's awful.
Anderson County would rise up.
Be wrong, though. I took a public health class last semester at UT where we were talking about opioid addiction at one point, and in some parts of Appalachia, there are almost 1,500 opioid prescriptions per 1,000 people.
Damn.
Whoa!
What?
Yeah, because you have people who aren't insured and therefore aren't in the system going from urgent care center to urgent care center to urgent care center to ER to ER to ER, getting a different opioid prescription at each place.
Well,
God.
George Shipley just told all of our listeners how to play the system. Thanks, Shipley.
There you go. Everybody health insurance, stay in the system. Enjoy your overdose.
You heard it from Shipley.
That's how you get tigers.
So outside of this train wreck, I'm turning off my background. Outside of this train wreck, what else have you guys been doing with your downtime?
Literally nothing.
No?
I actually haven't had much downtime since
I already
work from home. And then I also have 2 side gig jobs that have transferred into working from home. So I'm just as busy as I was before everything happened.
Damn.
Which I'm actually kind of thankful for. I'm thankful that I still have a job and don't have to file for unemployment and all that kind of stuff.
I did that today and it was a fucking nightmare. The site crashed on me 6 times and I had to restart completely over 6 times.
Jeez.
Shit.
And each time I got like 30 to 45 minutes into filling out my paperwork. And then it would just crash and I had to start all over. Like I went, I think from like 10 a.m. to like almost 4 p.m. trying to sign up for unemployment.
Now, are there different kinds you sign up for based on your situation, or is there just one way to do it?
I signed up for the one that's temporary layoff with a
COVID-19 is a reason.
Yeah, COVID-19 is a reason, and it's called temporary layoff with recall. So I'm basically saying that I still have a job, but they don't have the ability to work me the hours that would take to pay my bills. So I'm filing for unemployment to make ends meet until they recall me back to work full time.
Yeah, that's where I am.
I think everyone's been calling it furloughed.
Interesting. Okay. So if you had to, I guess, I don't know how much this is going to help, but if you had to give any advice to our listeners on if they're in a similar situation? What should they just go on the website and hope for the best, or what do you think?
I'd say for my problem, I think, was I went on at like 11 o'clock noon when a lot of people were probably waking up, getting on the website doing it. So I probably ran into a lot of traffic. If I had any advice, I would say do it the earliest or the latest possible where you don't think there's going to be a lot of traffic, like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. That way you won't hit a lot of internet traffic and you hopefully won't have a lot of slowdown on the website.
It's fair.
Idea.
What's the turnaround time from the time you apply until the time you actually qualify and get paid?
Apparently that's 72 hours for them to review my situation and then get back to me via email. And then they start direct depositing by next week.
That's ideal. But in my situation, I got the approval and like, this is all your stuff, blah, blah, blah. And the last thing said, if this is all accurate, don't respond and we'll be in touch. So I haven't, and that was a week ago, and I've not seen anything change. So, but that's normal, right now, because the numbers are so high. I've been warned multiple times that it's going to be delayed, but what Casey said is normally what happens.
Let me ask you guys,
mass layoffs.
Let me ask you guys something else. Have you had any dialogue with your, like the people you pay rent to or bill collectors or anything like that about new arrangements or situations, or is they still just got their hand out for the money?
My apartment complex, not that I want to throw them under the bus, so I won't give out any names, but they basically sent out an email that was like, if you're having trouble paying rent, here's a thing you can sign up for to get money or a loan to help you pay rent.
Mine said, oh, well, if you can't pay rent, then you're welcome to just go ahead and move out so we don't have to go through the trouble of evicting you.
That's so insane.
Yeah.
Ours said, to protect you and everyone else here, we're going to shut down all the facilities except laundry, and don't forget to pay rent at the first of the month.
Yep, basically.
Wow.
I would also like to point out that there's a thing going around that I've seen shared a couple times where someone has posted saying that they're a lawyer and that you don't have to pay rent. You 100% have to pay rent. That I don't care who that lawyer is. The apartment complex owns the building and owns you via contract. You have to pay rent. You can't just not.
Yeah, just because they can't evict you right now doesn't mean when this all passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say there's got to. I wouldn't. Oh man, see, once again, and I'm not a lawyer, but I think there's probably going to be some concessions to people that are demonstrably like on unemployment or out of work, or that literally were employed and they lost their job and they can't work. I'd say kind of like the power companies and stuff. They're not they're not going to be able to cancel your power or your water for non-payment. During the crisis, I'd say there's probably going to be a thing where they're probably not going to evict anybody until it's over. But then again, what's going to happen when it's over? That's the big
what Shipley said. That's what I've been thinking is they'll just come in with a big shovel and scoop everyone out like old shit.
Somebody we work with had a thing where they came in and they go, hey, I got a letter from my credit card company. And they said, I don't have to make any of my payments until like January of next year. Isn't that great? No. And I went, you idiot. What that's going to do, that's just going to build up the interest. Of course, they don't want you to make any payments. They're going to get so much more money off of you by just excusing it. Now, I get it. If you can't make them, that's possibly a better option. But of course, they're going to act like they're your buddy when they just get to, soak you for more interest.
So here's the problem I see is that they might not be able to evict you during this situation because of reasons. But the moment this thing ends, if you didn't pay April's rent and May's rent, in June, you're going to owe 3 months rent. And if you don't pay it, then you're evicted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's another thing.
They will get their money from you one way or another.
Yeah, so like, if worst case scenario, you cannot pay your rent, you'll have a place to ride it out, granted, but as soon as it's over, you're out. You're done.
Yeah, and you should save every penny you can to be able to pay it when that comes due. Assuming
they'll even let you. I mean, I'm sure there are
Assuming, but yeah.
I'm sure there are some like, I don't care, get out.
Yeah, it's rough, but I'm lucky enough to have a couple of fallbacks and nest eggs, and I had my birthday right around the time that all this happened, so I had a good chunk of savings, so I'm not too concerned about making my bills. But I was told to go on and sign up for unemployment just to kind of soften the blow, because it's going to be a lot longer than people think. Like, it's going to be May or probably before I go back to work.
Dang. Well, and I know there's
that's optimistic at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know there are some things where, like, if you're drawing Social Security, a lot of bill collectors can't come after you, and there might be a similar situation if you're on unemployment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who knows? But I would definitely, if you're in that situation, I would definitely ask, try to figure out, Google it a little bit, talk to somebody you trust. Don't just trust any dick on the internet like us, but maybe go and find out for real what your options are, you know?
I'm surprised those stimulus checks just didn't come earlier, since everybody's rent's due on the 5th. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like they would have been dispersed a week ago.
Yeah.
I have a
That would have been
feeling,
nice.
from my understanding, those are coming in the next week or two. Like, by May, everyone should have their stimulus check. And then they're also apparently talking about doing another stimulus.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, a one-time $1,200 payment won't get settled through the month.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I've read that isn't the stimulus check, it's not really just free money. It's an advance being taken out of your tax refund for next year as well. So they'll basically, like, if you choose to take it, which I'm not sure if it's an option or not, but if you do take it, they're going to remember that when you do your taxes next year.
It's not an option with your tax info. They just select you based on your income and supply it.
Yeah. And I don't think they're going to make you pay the whole $1,200 back with your tax return, but it's definitely going to be a percentage taken out.
They're either going to raise taxes bad next year to make it back, or what they're going to do is what Casey's saying. They're going to deduct your entire refund, or whatever the difference is between what your refund would be and what they sent you, and call it done.
And if I'm not, like, even when I was doing unemployment, it came up with an option that said, do you want federal tax withheld, or your federal whatever tax withheld? And if I said yes, it would withhold the normal 10% of, like, from the paycheck. Mm-hmm. And I had yes, because I was like, because when tax return comes, if I don't let them withhold that, that's going to come back to bite me in the ass hard.
Well, that sucks.
Yep.
That's
in brighter news, as far as things we've been doing with the downtime, Spencer and I, it's been very difficult because, he's still got work, and because of everything going on, we can't get the band together, but we've been very slowly, as we can, chipping away at finishing up a second song to release, and cobbling together ideas for lyric video things. So there'll be some Burn the City stuff hopefully soon.
Yeah.
The initial phase plan is to have it launch 3 songs, one of which you've already heard. Casey made a video for it, and 2 more that nobody's heard yet. And they're going to launch on all platforms. So it's going to be
all at the same
able to listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever, we just got to kind of put all the things in place for that, and really just tight. We've already got one of them pretty much mixed, 2 nearly mixed. It'd be nice to get that up before all this
is over.
So everybody's possibly would pay attention to it.
I think, but that's the thing. It's been crazy hard because of obviously just how difficult it is to get around people and everything else right now. But we've managed to make it work. I honestly think at the latest, by the end of April, we'll be launching all 3 of those, and
and luckily,
soon to follow will be lyric stuff and all that.
Luckily, one of the main guys we've got working on it, our legendary friend Randy Wetzel, also the bassist for Burn the City, his day gig, he's an electrician at the hospital, and he's constantly, literally every single day, they're taking his temperature, testing him, like checking him for signs, so he's like super. It's actually, I feel like it's really safe to be around Randy, he's the one that's going to help us and mix, and we're being careful not to touch or anything like that. And
I miss you, Spencer.
Shut up.
Oh,
hey, you guys talking about good news? Hold on a second.
Cat?
This is going to be cat news, and I'm all for it. Oh my God, look at that cat.
Look at this cat.
Oh, so cute.
Oh man, she is absolutely adorable.
Oh, she's so cute.
What are you doing?
She used to live with me. She used to live outside under my house or out on my porch.
Oh, so floofy. That needs to be the thumbnail. We'll get double views.
Spence, I kid you not, she's twice the size when you dropped her off like 4 weeks ago.
I don't doubt it. She was, we could kind of tell she was going to be huge and she was going to be real furry, and she is so pretty. I mean, that cat is, that's one of the cutest cats I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not just saying that, like, I've got a bunch of awesome cats that live with me, and she's cuter than any of my cats for sure.
Well, and I will say because at one point you told me that she was probably going to blow up the litter box I got her. She woke me up the other morning. Like, I woke up and I was like, oh, what is that? And she, like, I could hear like digging in the sand, like her digging in the litter box. And I like peered around my TV because it's by the door. And I looked at her and she looked at me and she was just like, sorry. that new kitten formula really did a number on me.
Oh, man.
So why do you keep the litter box in the bedroom? Shoo.
I'm just like trying to keep her contained. Her and my roommate's dog have started hanging out and being more friendly. So I'm going to try to find a new place for her litter box. But I'm also trying to be very thoughtful and not put the smell of cat shit throughout the whole house if I can help it.
You also have to be careful to not let the dog around the litter box either.
She's already gotten into it. She's already gotten after the crispy crunchers. I caught her the other day and she looked at me and was just like, nom, nom, nom. And I was like, what are you doing? Get out of there. She was like, oh, like took off running and like dog cat shit was falling out of her mouth. It was pretty good.
For a dog, it's like a real treat to get in the litter box.
I don't know. It must be the litter. The litter must taste really good.
I hope not, but dogs will eat all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Hunter, next time you come over, we'll have you try it and tell us.
That's fine. I'll let you know.
You agreed to that way too quickly.
I don't care. What if it cures my diabetes?
What if it's carb free?
How many type 1 diabetics have eaten cat litter to see what happens?
Dude,
we are not saying to do that, by the way, viewers. Do not do that.
Hunter changes the entire world by eating some cat shit, and then it cures his diabetes, and then all the diabetics have to eat cat shit.
And then he's the Tiger King.
Oh, God. Tiger Cake King.
Oh, shit.
Shipley, thank you for hanging in there through all of this. You've classed us up a little bit.
That's true.
And also, those classed is strong words.
Ow. Ooh.
Fact.
I don't think Hunter could pull off the frosted tip mullet as well as Joe Exotic could. Sorry, Hunter.
I'm going to stop you right there. My oldest brother, Roger, please don't ever hurt me for revealing this, had frosted tip hair in high school. So there's a precedent in my family for being able to pull it off a little bit.
Well, in that case, Hunter, when you watch Tiger King, you might get PTSD.
In this light, you can kind of see Hunter's hair glistening a little bit there. Like, I can almost see you pulling it off there. You've got this corona going on, and I don't mean like the virus.
Yeah, I mean the only thing brighter is the reflection off my shoulders.
Stop it.
Oh. It's a change. It's change background time, folks. Change background time.
Oh God, Spencer.
Oh man, honestly, like when I sat down to watch Tiger King, I expected to watch, like I was sitting down with my roommate and a friend, and I expected one episode, maybe two. We'll watch it, finish it later. We watched all 7 back to back. We were there until like 2 a.m. just watching every episode, because after every episode, it was just so much of a train wreck. It was almost like you watched the first 2 episodes, you watch the wreck, and then after that, people keep like getting run over for some reason. Like no one's stopping, no one's helping anybody. The ambulance caught on fire. The fire truck fell into a ditch. The cop showed up and shot another cop. Like it's a shit show.
That's a great analogy.
Honestly.
What was that, Shipley?
I said it's like one of those. It's like something you might expect to see in like Airplane or The Naked Gun or something. That kind of humor where it's just like it's like you said,
exactly.
Like a horrible wreck happens, and like what was it in Airplane? The one where all those people took turns slapping that hysterical.
Yeah.
That's what the whole show is like.
I don't think I could watch Tiger King back to back. Like I think if I watched all the episodes in a row, I would feel really weird.
I watched episodes in a row earlier, and let me tell you, I closed my laptop, I looked around my living room, and I'm just like, where am I?
I felt very unproductive binge watching it over 2 days. Like I felt like I wasted some time.
Now, Jordan recently binged a show we could talk about this a little bit, that we were big fans of Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah, no, my dad, we had been hanging out, and he came back to my apartment, and we were just going to watch like an episode or two of some TV show. And I saw Hill House, and I was just like, oh, I know Spencer recommended this. We'll check it out. We sat down to watch an episode, maybe two, and we finished it. We sat down at 8 p.m., and he left at 6:30 that morning. We just watched the whole damn thing.
So fucking good. It's so good.
Did you like the ending?
Oh, it was beautiful. Like I could not believe a horror show had such a gorgeous ending to it.
Yeah. That wasn't cheap. So good.
No,
how have I not heard of this show?
I read an interview with either the producer or the director of the show, one of the showrunners, and he said that actually when they made the decision to commit to giving it a happy ending, it actually enabled them to go darker during the course of the show, knowing that there was going to be the light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they not stupid light either.
Yeah, so, it was actually meaningful.
So, Jason, I do know that the missus hates horror, so that's probably why you've not heard of it. However, now that you're kind of on like a little hiatus and you can watch horror at this moment, you should definitely watch The Haunting of Hill House.
Highly recommend.
Well, first of all, let's back up a bit, because you made it sound like me and my wife are breaking up, and that's not the case.
No, they're just going on a little break, Casey.
That's not the
it's
case.
just a break. Mommy and Daddy still love each other. It's okay. Eat your peas.
No, I've never heard. I just horror movies aren't on my radar. They never really have been. But I've never heard of one that actually has a happy ending like you guys just described. So I might check it out. Is it on Netflix? Please tell me it's not on Hulu, because I don't have a Hulu account.
Netflix.
No, it's Netflix. It's a legit. Okay. It's a legit drama that's creepy as shit and will make you piss yourself a little bit.
It also has the best cinematography I've seen in a TV show. Like,
it's
camera
gorgeous.
work is gorgeous.
That's fair.
Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, I texted Spencer at the time while I was watching it. I'm not gonna spoil or anything, but the scene in the basement with the dumbwaiter, I went almost into hysterics. Had I been there, I would have turned the thing off, turned all the lights on, and not slept for the rest of the night and never finished it.
And
I literally just felt my spine go cold. I forgot what that was until now.
That's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was horrifying.
In episode 8, when the sisters are driving down the road and they get scared from between the seats.
Man.
That's it. That's the one. I
stopped it. I paused the show and I took a 10-minute walk away from my TV to take a break, because that got me so bad.
And that's so funny, because for me, it was in episode 1 or 2. I think 1, when they're just setting the stage at the very beginning, when you get the glimpse of stuff, and then they get to the doorknob and you just see it wiggling, which is so subtle, but I became a ghost instantly. Like, I died for a moment. That was awful.
One thing that got me also was the scene, I can't remember which episode, it was one of the latter ones, the scene with the dad and one of the daughters in the office, and they've just found the destroyed model house.
Yeah.
That got me so bad.
So, Jason, one of the things you need to do when you watch this show, because you'll watch it in 2 days. Like, you'll start watching it and it'll just grab you and pull you in. But the one thing that people noticed but didn't really talk about until after they had, like, a couple weeks had passed, is that there's so much going on in the background that the whole, like, background of the scenes are alive to make you want to watch it again. Like, you'll notice, like, the dad walking down a hallway and a statue will be looking one way, and then the next shot will be looking directly at him, and you're like, wait a minute, and you'll, like, rewind it and look and be like, oh shit. And there's also, like, ghosts in windows and, like, ghosts in corners, and you see it just for a second, and you're like, oh, what was that? And you rewind it and look.
Did y'all see the one in the background when he finds the thing in the wall?
Yep.
He jumps back and then he starts crawling back towards it, and you see it for just a split second between him and the wall.
There's also one in the window frame, like, just real quick when it's, like, going past a window, you see it sitting there looking at the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a wonderful show. I
making me want to watch it again.
Can't wait for season 2, which I believe is called Blythe Manor, The Haunting of Blythe Manor. So that should be coming out.
Do we have when's it supposed to come out?
This year.
This year, I think.
Dude, that would be nice.
Let me look real quick just to make sure.
But yeah, highly recommend, Jason. It's high caliber horror.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out, because I love those type of TV shows and movies where it's like you watch it again and you notice things that you didn't notice the first time.
Yeah,
those are my favorite.
Endlessly rewatchable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. It's called The Haunting of Bly Manor, and it looks like it's based off of Shirley Jackson's 1959 novel, which I believe is Haunting Hill House, right? It's also based off of Shirley Jackson. And it should be coming out in October sometime. So
perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect. And Jason, be prepared. Like it's. I mean, after like it starts out and it definitely has like a very creepy kind of a vibe to it, but like after you watch it a little bit, it's 100% like, like a drama.
Yeah.
Powerhouse acting performances. It's not papery. It's really got a lot of depth. It's got a lot of layers to it. And the horror really kind of becomes secondary. And the scary stuff we're talking about really kind of just jump scares that there's a lot more going on in the show, and it becomes really epic and beautiful by the end of it. Like it was.
Yeah.
My friend and I watched it. We were both very, very impressed with the depiction of the dynamic of a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like those writers knew exactly what they were doing.
Well, and I can't remember. I think it's episode 6 or 7. They do a 17-minute extended, like a continuous shot, no cuts, and they actually had a behind the scenes. I think you can find it on YouTube of like showing the camera taking circles and actors coming in and out, and them like moving sets and like going from the funeral home into the house, the old house back in the day, and like making the kids into like the adults, and then the adults back to kids.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's one of the best, like I said, one of the best TV cinematographies that I've seen, especially like in recent history. But
like the thing that the thing that makes it really pop, just to not to put too fine a point on it though, is that scene specifically, Casey, that shot after everything that you go through, and then having not being at the end of the story, because Jason, again, it's such good horror storytelling that when you get to the end and you're like approaching the final boss battle, like you're sweating and shaking in your chair because you don't want to deal with it. That hasn't happened yet, but there's this moment, which is the shot, and it's heartrending, but not because it's sad, but because of what it kind of is showing, the deterioration of everything. It's showing the beauty of something that's fallen apart, and it does it in a single camera take. It's mind-boggling as stuff. It's gorgeous.
So what I'm getting out of it it's way more than just your run-of-the-mill horror show or movie.
Yes.
That's good. That's awesome.
It's The Conjuring 2 when Ed Warren sings that song to that family to make the kids calm down right before everything goes down, and Lorraine's looking at him and it's all sweet and like really peaceful. It's a TV show about that moment that doesn't shy away from all the other shit happening at the same time.
I felt like the show, especially once you get to the last 10 minutes of the finale episode, was that really the show was kind of about, I don't want to be all like fake deep or anything, but like death and change and how we all cope with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like especially the very last scene with the caretaking people, like that.
Yeah.
It showed a whole different side of the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can argue about whether or not how they chose to approach it was healthy or not, but I mean, like, you know what I'm saying?
And I will say, I at the very first time I watched the first episode, before the last 5 minutes of the first episode, I was like, I'm not feeling this at all. Like this just seems a little too dramatic, a little too, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Doesn't seem very horror at all. And then the last 5 minutes of that first episode hit, and it hits hard, and you go, I'm watching every other episode right now. Shit.
Yep.
It just grabs you and pulls you in right there. The last 5 minutes, it's like, I got you now. And it was, it was great.
And it's cool that it doesn't take off too quick too. A lot of things start too fast and then they feel cheap, but it takes its time, and that's that kind of stuff used to bore me. And now when a movie like doesn't get in too much of a hurry, I go, oh man, they may be like building up to something really cool here,
And they did in this case.
I also really appreciated how the interaction close at the end of the first episode between Steve and Luke. You needed to see Luke's side of that, and you found out it isn't actually what you were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you watch that scene and you're just like, oh yeah, I know what this is. But then you find out you actually had no idea what it was. It was completely not what you thought.
Yeah. Jason, I'll tell you this. If you watch Haunting Hill House this week, let me know and I'll watch it as well. And that way I can be fresh on it when you like want to talk about it.
I was thinking the same thing.
To be honest, I'm so far behind on TV shows. I'll put it on the list, but I'm just now getting around to watching like season 1 of Altered Carbon. So it's gonna be a while.
So good.
Hey, just let us know when you're starting it though. I'm with Casey. I want to rewatch it so we can chat.
Well,
I will definitely let you know. Hey,
Beacon House, watch TV, make sure it's good, and pay your rent, and go to unemployment if you need to. Wash your hands.
Were we not getting no improvised song this time, Hunter?
Oh, here, kitty, kitty.
I saw
Mama's got a treat for you. Oh, kitty,
Tiger Song, man.
God.
Coming from you, Casey, sounds way more creepy.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in mid-COVID quarantine.
Yes, and thanks to our wonderful guests, Jordan and Jason. Thank you so much for coming on. Let's do this some more, man. We've got Zoom all the time. Nobody's doing anything. Let's do a bunch of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm down.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Thank you so much. And for those of you that are going to be hearing this just on Spotify with no video, go check out some of these clips on YouTube. I'm sure Casey's going to find something funny. And you got to see everybody's background, particularly Jordan and Jason have the Joe Exotic background. It's really great.
Yeah, they're pretty good though.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh my.